This video is brought to you by the support of the cookies in my Patreon. I can't show everything here, but if you subscribe to my Patreon, you'll get to watch the videos in full and the very naughty. Don't forget to ring that bell when you subscribe. Now, let's start the show.
Chapter 2! We're now in a third person. Dungeons are spaces exhibiting a strange harmony, as if two different areas have been forcefully melded together. The walls were speckled with fungi of all shapes and hues, and growing over them in irregular patterns were moss that glowed faintly with the mana it held within. There are also the occasional traces of monsters with the remnants of other adventurous campsites. What makes a dungeon different from a cave is that mana sets it in motion. The dungeon itself breathes as if it's a living animal. Not a moment goes by without the space shifting slightly, and parts of the wall seem to come alive and squirm. Gahel and I walk cautiously, quietly registering the bizarre landscape. I always say this, but the dungeon's interior is a strange place. It's like crawling into the intestine of a creature stitched together from multiple organs. Gahel seems to ponder Resque's words for a moment, then replied solemnly. Intestines, you say? A horrid analogy, but an undeniable one. We quickened our pace on our pursuit of a mana herb. We had to travel roughly halfway into the dungeon to scan as much ground as possible. Upon following the map and reaching a clearing, I prepared a spatial detection spell. A cluster of blue light slowly emanated from Resque's body, repelling the darkness and exuding a mysterious radiance. Ooh! This mana stared at my feet and fluttered like a leaf, floating down a stream before seeping into the ever-changing depths of the dungeon. Although the place kept silent as if holding his breath, minus the sound of my breathing and Gahel warding our surroundings, the dungeon I felt through the strands of mana felt riotous as inside of a crowded tavern. Cross-examining the dungeon pictured on the map in my hand and the dungeon I felt through the detection magic, I spoke to Gahel. Looks like we've got this. It's just as the map says. The fountain is to the east, and the monster-ridden path really is to the west too. The mana herbs are in the northwest. As soon as I finished speaking, I folded the map of the dungeon and tucked it in my pocket. Gahel, who had been silently watching our surrounding, nodded. Walking along the quiet dungeon path, Gahel spoke up, seemingly curious about the detection magic I had used earlier. I heard mages who can trace various pieces of information with detection magic are hard to come by. That was impressive. You've seen me do it last time we went dungeon diving. Any reason you bring it up now? Good! We are now playing this blind together. This is gonna be very interesting. Back then, I suppose it was just an elementary surface tracking spell. I've been told most mages are able to track only a specific target, because the sheer amount of information that comes with understanding the entirety of a space can be overwhelming. He continued, seemingly intrigued. I thought you were tracking just the mana herbs, but you were precisely reading the spatial information of the entire dungeon with the detection spell. I now see that you're no ordinary mage. Resque, with a slightly embarrassed smile, responded. It's only natural that a mercenary mage would specialize in combative elemental magic after all. I bet the official mages of the magic tower could do the same without breaking a sweat. They could probably find a lost coin on the other side of the city. Gahel's eyes still shone, seemingly thinking Resque was remarkable. You got the magic tower's notary for your healing potions too. Do you receive a training at the magic tower? If that were the case, the proof of identity I submitted when we singed. No, they didn't sign it. They singed it. Look, when they submitted when we singed our contract. Yes, they sung. On their contract would have said that I was a mage, not a merchant, right? If I were to enter the magic tower, I'd have to pass a highly competitive exam, and only from then onwards will the tremendous amount of money I'd need to become a formal mage become a problem. I neither have that much talent nor money. I got the healing potion notarized with the help of an acquaintance at the magic tower. Gahel expressed doubt at Resque's answer. Then, how did you learn magic? I had a master when I was young. He was quite the eccentric dragon beastman. Dragon? Gahel looked at Resque in surprise for a moment. Just one master? Was it the master who's extraordinary, or... Then about your acquaintance at the magic tower. His name is Bato. I didn't learn magic from him. I first met him around the time I opened my shop. I walked and chatted with Gahel about Bato, the bear beastman. His job at the magic tower is policing unlicensed activities like forbidden magic, and he stopped by to inspect my shop when it newly opened. I thought Resque was shaking. It's just my perception. Okay. Naturally, there were no issues with my shop, but there was an incident where Bato suddenly became unconscious, and I received a magic tower notary document for helping him. Ah. The leisurely chatting didn't last long. After defeating a few wandering low-level monsters, we arrived at a colony of mana herbs. The densely flourishing verdure unfurled so lushly that it made one's mouth watering at the thought of turning them into profitable potions. Of course, if I harvested all of them, they might not have grown back to the time I returned, so I should take only about half. I took out a specialized pouch to start harvesting the herbs. Ooh! Ask him to gather herbs together. Is it good? Ask him to gather herbs together. Ah. Okay, that's good. That's nice. Wanna try harvesting them, Gahel? It's easier than you think. How do I harvest them? I demonstrated in front of Gahel, who leaned in to help. Wrap the roots ends with mana to prevent wilting and ensure the stems don't break when you pull. It's more about dexterity than magical affinity. I cannot manipulate mana like that. I've received a procedure. Huh. Oh, I see. Gahel is my favorite channel? What? It's common practice to engrave magical formulas on one's body in the world of a mercenary where physical strength is everything. Magic such as materializing sword slashes or deflecting incoming strikes become possible through training if one has the talent. But for a mercenary, it's more efficient to attain them quickly and easily through magical procedures. Of course, such procedures aren't all powerful. It seems Gahel can only use formulas that absorb mana to strengthen his muscles. This might take some time, so keep an eye on our surroundings for now. Oh, he's big. He's brought out his big sword. Phew, it should be enough, right? Oh, look! Blue! As Resque filled the pouch with carefully picked herbs, Gahel watched over Resque, occasionally slashing at approaching bat monsters. Whooshing! Whooshing! Go away! Go away, Zubats! Whooshing! Whooshing! Resque stretched, unwinding his stiff muscles. Let's head out now. Wait, something's not right. I can feel something! It sounds like a boss battle! Gahel closely observed the monsters in the distance. Although they weren't yet in striking distance, Gahel watched the direction monsters came from and came to a conclusion. A passage that wasn't there before has appeared. Meaning the dungeon has shifted! I'll use a detection spell real quick. I use a simplified version of detection spell I cast before we entered, focusing only on the surrounding areas. Looks like a blocked off wall has opened. Wait, that's a lot of monsters! It seems that the opening connected the area to a previously isolated, undetectable room full of monsters. We need to escape quickly! Yow! Gasp! Bestial monsters have made threatening sounds as they rush towards us. It seems that other monsters became alerted by the noise as well. Gahel and I ran through another passage to escape. However, we were met with monsters on the other side as well. Gahel charged forward, skillfully slashing through the bestial monsters that charged towards us, horn first. Resque, frantically following Gahel, looked behind him to see monsters swarming in the darkness. Oi! Those monsters are huge, man! Like Really huge. Resque! Watch out!
Ah!
I duck and rolled, narrowly avoiding sharp poison darts aimed at my head. The trembling of the air I felt through the hair made my skin crawl. Gahel split a grotesque mass in two and sprinted towards me, legs taut with muscles. There are too many. Should we break through and make a run for it? Damn. Looks like we got no other choice. It was an abnormal occurrence for such powerful monsters to appear in the difficulty level low dungeon. There was no time to make decisions. Speculations. What we need to do to survive was act! Some monsters don't rely on sight, so smoke bombs won't work. To safely clear a path, we need to lure the monsters away from us as much as possible. To do that, thinking quickly, I touch Gahel's sword. Ah! I touch Gahel's sword! Blood droplets form on my fingertips to cut by the sharp blade. What are you... Run for it! Run to your left! I'll follow you... Run to your left! I'll follow right behind! Gahel hesitated for a moment, but soon understood and cast a sharp gaze towards the monsters. Now! At Resque's shout, Gahel dashed leftwards like lightning. Like lightning! Simultaneously, Resque infused mana into the blood and scattered it in the air. This will lure some monsters that can track mana. I followed Gahel with all the strength my legs could muster. Turn right up ahead! While cutting down monsters, Gahel checked periodically if Resque was following safely. As we sharply turned right... Man, I wish this was an turn-based RPG! As we sharply turned right, the number of pursuing monsters significantly reduced. However, my breathing soon became more labored and I felt I was nearing my physical limits. To catch our breath, we had to find somewhere to hide. Somewhere to hide from the monsters even for just a moment. Resque! Huh? Gahel pushed Resque to the side. Oh! Ugh! Gahel! Dark blood dripped from Gahel's arm. A thorn shot by a monster had deeply penetrated his muscles, causing him to grimace in intense pain. The rapidly spreading poison turned his forearm skin purple. Blood bubbling and spurting from the wound. Despite the pain, Gahel forcefully slashed a nearby monster and kicked its body over to obstruct the approaching ones. Seizing the opportunity, Resque rummaged through the bag for a healing potion. Right, I have this! I quickly took out a special healing potion and applied it directly to the wound. The red liquid surging with magical power covered the wound and healed him instantly. His wound faded away as if time had been rewound. I was relieved that I had brought the potion along. With a relieved expression, Gahel moved his arm to check its condition. There's no pain at all. This potion is incredible. Huh? What was that? It felt like there was an explosion of mana, of aberration just now. The flow of magical energy that streamed against the ordinary tide raised the hairs on the back of my neck. For the time being, I threw several magic missiles. Magic missiles! To prevent the monsters from getting close while Gahel got back to his feet. The idea was not to inflict critical damage on the monsters, but to scatter them haphazardly to impede their movement. Suddenly, Gahel let out a pain groan. Quickly, run! What? What do you mean? Get away from me! Get out of here first! Quickly! No! No, he turned into a demon! No, he turned into a demon! Gahel pushed me away with a force comparable to before, making my back throb as if being beaten up. As I fell to the ground, I saw Gahel writhe in agony for some unknown reason. The magical energy around Gahel was warping and being sucked into him. Moreover, his eyes were changing into a strange color. Oh my god, this must be his limiter! You know, from Final Fantasy with the limit break? Could it be a mana rampage? Mana rampage! Since Gahel handles magic power over-exerting could cause such symptoms. However, it would be normal for a mercenary like him to be physically drained if he exerted to that extent. Until just now, Gahel's breathing is controlled like that of a skilled swordsman. It seems like the mana rampage is happening for some other reason. I could see Gahel's muscles writhing uncontrollably. If he uses magic to enhance his muscles, a mana rampage would manifest in such a form. Yes! You've been saying that since the last 3 boxes. Get on with it! The trade-off for such overwhelming power is that he cannot stop for even a moment. Yeah, we know! That's what rampage is! Get on with it! It all felt like my fault. Guilt weighed heavily on me. Gahel gripped his twin swords. He gripped this one sword and he gripped his other sword. Gahel gripped his twin sword so tightly, I thought they might break, and glared at the horde of monsters with blood-red eyes. It seemed he would rather kill all the monsters rather than risk hurting me while we escape together. Even if Gahel is strong, can he really fight properly in such a state? I will definitely return for you. His voice was filled with firm determination. After saying that, Gahel suddenly accelerated his movements, charging at the monsters at the speed of lightning. Wow, if only there's CG! I left Gahel, who was getting further away behind, and looked for a way out as he would want me to. Even while waiting for Gahel at the dungeon entrance, I couldn't lift my head due to worry and distress. Dungeon bodyguard mercenaries are already very well aware that the job might cost them their lives, but I had grown attached to Gahel. And what made it even more painful was that I strangely felt I had experienced something similar before and yet was not able to remember what it was. Should I at least look for his body? Just as I was about to re-enter the dungeon with that thought in mind, I beheld Gahel walking out before my eyes. Gahel looked terribly exhausted, but surprisingly he doesn't seem to have lost a drop of blood. Gahel! Resque. Gahel collapsed to the ground with a faint smile. He collapsed, yes? Maybe the sprite would, go down? Gahel collapsed to the ground with a faint smile, perhaps feeling relieved. He grasped my hands at once. I rushed to him, thankfully yet to be unconscious. Let's return to the shop. Yeah. Magical circle. Ooh, we have a teleportation magic circle. I struggled to support Gahel's body as we made our way to the teleportation magic circle. It would be better to use a special healing potion from the store rather than spending time looking for a healer. Heal! Resque arrived at the store, groaning as he dragged Gahel's body up the stairs. Heavy. Oi! Oh, in your bed. Okay. Resque laid Gahel down on the bed of his room. There was no visible blood stains, but it was necessary to check where and how he was injured. Resque started to undress Gahel. I can do this much by myself. Strip him forcefully. Gahel tried to stop Resque's hand, but his muscles didn't obey him. Oh, that part is... He has a tattoo. Oh, he has a tattoo. Oh my god, look at that. That part is... Oh! Gahel! No! Come back! Gahel has apparently gone into his room. I know it's embarrassing, but if he starts moving around when he's not fully healed yet, he might tear his muscles. Then you ran chase him. I pick up my armor and sword from the floor and set them down in front of the door to Gahel's room. No, technically it's not the first time I've seen it. Yusuke went downstairs, hiding from Gahel a memory that would make him die of embarrassment if he were to find out. Boo! Well, that happened. A moment later, a slightly embarrassed looking Gahel came down the stairs. Would it be better to rest a little bit for today? Thank you for your concern, but it's urgent that I make report about the dungeon's conditions. While he's blushing. I know, we have so... No, actually, it's almost 2 hours. According to Gahel's speculation, monsters that escaped from the monster colony seem to have fought refuge in the dungeon. Further verification is needed, but he presumes that the monsters felt the mana aberration and were drawn to the place. This information should be relayed to the mercenary guild as soon as possible so that the dungeon's difficulty can be treated. I can go myself. A creature for the depths of the dungeon. You'll need my testimony. After failing to turn down Gahel's insistence, we went to the mercenary guild together. The noisy mercenary guild has quieted down a bit with the arrival of Gahel. As a mercenary from Kalarian, he's sure to attract attention. Standing behind him, I was glad that Gahel's size completely obscured me from sight. Hello, Gahel! Lucas, the guild receptionist, offered a polite greeting. Gahel cut straight to the chase, talking about the monster that swarmed the Tassia dungeon. I'll need a report. The testimony of Resque was only a preliminary description. It will be based on the Gahel's testimony regarding the type and approximate number of monsters, changes in the dungeon, and extraneous details which the report will be written. As Resque realized that Gahel had battled an even greater number of demons than he had anticipated, his expression grew increasingly alarmed. It appears that the colony's monsters have entered the dungeon, and quite a few of them. Thank you for your detailed testimony. I'll have to share this case with the Knights of Burstein. In the worst case scenario, a new monster colony might spawn in the dungeon. The Knights will take care of that. Of course, but it's better to take fewer risks. On his way back to the shop, after his testimony with Gahel, Resque brought a large cut of meat. Gahel's physical injuries were healed, but he will need mental rest, and he needs food. Eat well today, and get a good night's sleep because you'll be running to the business tomorrow. Gahel looked at Resque and smiled broadly.
The poor pigs! He's smiling!
Thanks. I've never seen such an innocent smile on Gahel's face. I smiled back. After yesterday's eventful day, the peaceful opening of the shop was a relaxing change of pace. Since we were closed for 2 days in a row, we had very few customers, so I was able to spend some time preparing the ingredients. It was in the middle of cleaning as an effort to calm his nerves when the door opened.
Chime!
Oh, it's Bato! And I thought he was wearing a cloak, but apparently it's a priest robe. And then, oh god, oh gosh, I can see the belly. A white bear entered the shop. He was dressed in robes and carrying a staff, a typical mage's attire. Typical! Seeing a familiar face, Resque immediately rushed to greet him. Welcome back! You come at a good time. This bear, Bato, is a mage, as one might surmise from his outfit. And not just any run-of-the-mill mage, but a formally trained elite mage of the Magic Tower. If one is seeing him for the first time, they might be a little intimidated by his size, but he's actually more cuddly than meets the eye. He's more shy and reserved than he looks, but his magical proficiency is first-rate. Hey, big bro. Bato is younger than... Excuse me? Bato is 21?! A formal mage of the Magic Tower, through his standing within the tower, is rather low. Due to mana leakage, he can only use magic at half the level of normal mages. Compensates with his innate physical abilities. Turns a blind eye to the protagonist's illegal activities, though he seems to unilaterally consider themselves partners in crime. Mana rampage, a state where one cannot control the flow of mana within their body. Usually occurs when magic is misused or when pushed beyond one's capabilities. Limit break, in other words, it's limit break. And it's a testament to Bato's ingenuity that he had graduated so quickly and already had years of field experience to his name. What brings you here today? It's not a big deal. I just wanted to check in. I'll make you a cup of tea. For Bato, checking in means several things. He wants to make sure the story is okay, make sure that I'm okay, and examine his condition as well. He has some knowledge of my dangerous business and is in a position whose duty is to crack down on it, but at the same time he owes me his life and is cooperating with me. But the info, mana leakage. Mana leakage. Normal mages have mana efficiency of over 90%, but those mana efficiency is about half that, equivalent to a beginner's level of magic proficiency. That's sad. Bato has been suffering from a serious case of mana leakage for some time now. A little mana leaking out when using magic is not uncommon, but Bato was leaking mana to the point where his magic efficiency was, well, below average. A weaker magic output is only the start of the symptoms. Using magic as an output matching his peers was an act akin to pouring water into a cracked basin, and using mana like that could endanger his own life. There's something about coming here that makes me feel at ease, even though I don't come here that often. Bato sipped his tea and murmured, "There's something about his appearance and personality that somehow makes me think of him as a younger brother." I led Bato to the back of the store. Ooh! Would you like to sit down for a minute?
Yes!
Yes. I touched Bato. You touch a rock! As he sat in the chair, as if I was a healer examining his health. Flesh and muscle covered in white fur twitched nervously. Even if he didn't have a professionally trained body like Gahel or Elred. Who's Elred? You can feel that the muscles were capable of mustering fearsome power. Bato is probably better at throwing punches than the average mercenary. I've never seen him in a fight myself, but I've seen the face of a black market trader who was beaten to a pulp by a Bato. By a Bato! Eek! Huh? What's wrong? It's a cockroach! Oh no, no, it's nothing. Bato's fur is standing on end, even tenser than before. The fluffy feeling is addictive and I want to touch him more. The fuck? But I realized the job was done. The imprinting is in good condition. The leak mana is being recovered too, right? Yep. Thanks a bunch, big bro. Just in case, try your favorite spell. Avada Kedavra! Bato hesitated for a moment, then snapped off his energy sphere. So he can't even disassemble his staff like that. Bato stuck his hand into the sphere, which appeared to be made of metal. Despite its metallic appearance, the sphere fluctuated as if made of liquid as it wrapped around his fingers. Ooh! Brass knuckles! Bato knuckles! Bato knuckles! It seemed Bato was using the sphere, whose form can be altered instantaneously as combat knuckles. Bato energized it by casting several types of enhancement magic on it at once. I'm good to go. Whoosh! Bato pounds his fist into the air a few times, and a menacing whooshing noise reverberated as the air was sundered. The frightening sound makes Resque's fur stand on end. That alone would be enough to kill me. So he holds back against other people. The black market trader's crushed face flashed through my mind, reminding me of Bato's strength. His physical strength is impressive, but so is his ability to simultaneously use a variety of enhancement spells to support it. It's the perfect combination of combat magic, one that hardens his weapons and accelerates his movements while dispersing the impact of the strikes he takes. How does it feel? Aren't you using too much magic? Bato returned the combat knuckles to its original state as the staff's magic sphere. It's okay. It's only about 160 dodeca. Ah, 160 dodeca? What is that? Having received no formal education at the magic tower, I only recognized that the term was a unit of measurement of some sort, but I didn't know what exactly it meant. Bato saw my reaction and began to explain. It's a standard unit of mana. It's a term you'd find more often in papers than regular conversation. It's a term from the theory of the 12 manifestation of magic, but no, that's not the point. I wish I had a crystal ball to use as a standard. Oh, do you want to try it out for yourself? Okay, okay. Stand back! Perhaps it was because the conversation was about magic, but Bato spoke with more vigor than usual. He casually grabbed Resque's hand and channeled a tiny bit of magic into it. Those really are big hands. This is 1 dodeca. Oh wait, do I have to double it to get it to work? Anyway, it's a very small unit, so I'd have to spend at least 5 dodeca for basic magic. Depends on the spell, but usually... Ah! Bato holds my hand tightly, then realizes what he's doing and pulls away. I think I see a blush on his white face. Ah, ew, ooh. Thanks for the heads up. Still, the mana leakage itself is still there, so we shouldn't blindly trust this procedure. I slip Bato a mana potion just in case. It's nothing something a mage would never need, but given Bato's condition, I made him carry it as some kind of emergency ration. Thank you, big bro. Really? This is no big deal. It's your day off, so go get some rest. I patted Bato on the shoulder and bid him farewell. He's like a little brother to me now that I'm still a little worried about our relationship, not knowing when or what is something about it will change. A relationship in which secrets are unintentionally shared from the start is like a box that was yet to be opened. The first day I met Bato, he collapsed from an exhaustion right there in my shop, and I still get a little distressed thinking about it. I knew that a mage from the magic tower was coming to inspect the shop that day. Naturally, I had tucked away all the items that they would find a problem, so there were no problems. Oh, what the hell? The real problem is that Bato suddenly collapsed while inspecting the store. Resque. What? I think it all happens when he entered the store. It's as if the store itself sucked all of his magic. I have a feeling, because I think it's never happened before. It only happened when he entered mismo the said building. Resque carried him to the room, but his condition continued to worsen because Resque became worried because there was no visible wounds. It's because I exhausted all my mana. I'll get better if I rest a little. What kind of mage uses mana until he collapses? In disbelief, I exclaimed, almost angrily. Resque placed his hands on Bato's chest, and he panicked and made a strange noise like Resque directly poured mana into Bato's heart. Here, have some Vicks Vaporub. Bato flailed like a fish out of water, but Resque ignored him. When he released his hand after infusing Bato with some mana, Bato scrambled into his feet and approached Resque. Hey, this is an absolute secret. If they find out I've collapsed in the field... Let's calm down. You did just collapse, after all. Oh, again! Oh, Bato sat down on the bed, his face sullen. I've been thinking this since the first time I saw you, but you're around the same age as me, right? And since you're working for the magic tower, I'm guessing you graduated too. Bato looked up at Resque and gave a small nod. I'm 21 years old. I graduated 3 years ago. What? I was surprised to find out that Bato was younger than I thought. I had assumed he was an elite young magic tower graduate, but I still thought of him as a fresh graduate. He's actually senior to me in terms of experience. Not that we have a hierarchy thing going on. Bato ducked his head, embarrassed by my surprised expression. I tried to get friendly for a moment to break the ice. Oh, I didn't expect it to be younger. I'm 24, but you can call me whatever you want. Well, can I call you big brother? The way Bato looks at me makes his eyes look dewy. He's like a cute little brother, and I almost spontaneously patted him on the head. I came to my senses and decided to calm Bato down. I see. You said Bato, right? I guess you have something to hide, but don't worry. I don't know anyone in the magic tower anyway. Eh? So, how do you know so much about... I have a teacher. He's a little unusual, but as a teacher, let's just say he's very capable. Bato thought for a moment and spoke. If you were my brother, I think I could tell you something. Bato passed the magic tower's exam at the age of 9. Naturally, he was labeled a genius, but starting one day, his spells didn't have the power they used to whenever he used magic. He named the problem where mana leak out, even though there were no issues with the spell and the casting of it as mana leakage. At first, he simply worked around the issue by using more mana, but of course there are limits to methods like that. Bato's nickname had gone from elite of the magic tower to a half mage. In order to be received well at the magic tower, where only results matter, Bato switched specializations and graduated early. After graduation, he was recognized for his work, taking on jobs that other mages didn't want to take on, but the more he did, the more he became parched of mana. Oh, I thought I held up pretty well though. When you're this low on mana, your recovery is bound to be slow. I had an idea. I won't be able to fix the leak itself, but there must be a way to make it so that the leaked mana is immediately absorbed. I said, running the equations in my head, like, what if we could make recovery faster with a magical procedure? Perhaps by imprinting. The procedure? Yeah, is it odd that a mage would get one? Imprinting a formula on one's body is a shortcut to quickly, easily, and repeatedly cast a particular spell. If one is a mage of the magic tower that studies sophisticated magical techniques, they might think of this procedure as a low-grade means to an end. Resque simply explained its principle. As soon as there is a mana leak, you could capture the leaked mana and return it to the heart. You don't need to steal mana from external sources, and you don't need artifacts. You can accomplish it with your own mana. So much explanation! It's starting to get super boring! The largest mage society in the current kingdom requires substantial funds to go through the Magic Tower's formal education and a tense relationship with the nobility. The act of inscribing magic directly to the body, mainly used by mercenaries as a means to gain strength quickly. Effects and side effects vary greatly depending on the method used. Originally meant ancient relics with power abilities. However, at some point, even non-ancient items began to be called artifacts if they were powerful or useful enough. This game is becoming boring. Of course, it won't fix the leakage itself, but... Bato's expression furrowed as if in contemplation. I suppose it's unbefitting of a mage after all. I'll do it! The procedure! Oh, is this because he has the magic leakage because of this? Bato's expression of determination was quickly broken by Resque's answer. And first, I'll need you to take off your clothes. Take off my clothes? Take them off? Yeah, only the robe. Oh, Resque sat Bato down on a chair, his expression bashful. Bato fumbled with the knot fastening his robe before untying them. That's huge muscle, man! When his robes were removed, Bato's body was like a solid mass of stone. Beneath the black mane of hair on his neck, he was covered in fur as white as marble. The musculate of Bato's shoulders and arms rivaled those of even Gahel's or Elred's. His chest and stomach, on the other hand, looked round and soft. But Bato neatly folded the robe he shed and placed it on his lap. Okay. I think the name Bato, or Bato, whatever, because it's Kwane, Bato is a Filipino word for rock. Yeah. So it must be as hard as a rock. You could say that Bato is the rock. When I stood behind him and put my hand on his back, he gasped in surprise. Why do I feel like I'm doing something vulgar? Despite his size, Bato tensed like an animal about to be eaten. Bato's broad back was simultaneously hard with muscle and soft and fluffy. I loved the feel of the short hairs and can't keep my hands off of them. I felt like I was petting a teddy bear that was almost as big as me. The view of his rounded ears from the back was kind of cute. I wondered what the field would be like elsewhere, but then I came to my senses and began to speak. Let me measure how the mana leaks out. Can you cast any simple spell for me? Bato twitched in nervousness before expanding a detection magic. Ooh! A blue magic circle appeared on the floor, centered on Bato, and quickly dissolved into a sphere of light. The light flashed like a blue ocean waves for a split second before fading out of the room. While Risque's jaw dropped upon beholding such a high level of magic usage he had worked to focus on at the moment. It's spreading left and right, and it's disappearing as quickly as I expected it. Bato gazed at Resque, who was parsing through the results on his head. Okay, I've got an idea of how to engrave it. Engrave! Resque retrieved the ingredients from the procedure from the warehouse. Unlike regular tattoos, mana imprinting requires mana-friendly materials. I improvised a magical ink from gemstone powder, alchemic powder, gemstones that act like a catalyst, and liquefied mithril. Waiting in this room, Bato watched the Resque ingredients being mixed, sulking in a fashion unbecoming of his immense size. Take good care of me. I inked over Bato's white fur in a painterly manner. But I can feel that the immensely jittery Bato was trying his best not to move with every touch of my fingers. The truth is, my magical procedures didn't need to be as precise as the average magical circle. I felt sorry for Bato, so I decided to get it over with as quickly as possible. Now we just need to imprint it with magic power. With a quick blast of energy... You are blessed! Wait. You are blessed! With a quick blast of energy, the magical link disappeared with Bato's body. He couldn't see it, but he could feel it. What do you think? Bato fidgeted with his hands in his robes again. It must be an odd sensation to have an imprinting in one's body. Ah, so this is what it feels like. Bato gathered the energy in his hands and transformed it into a massive magic circle. The circle quickly dissipated, but the area around it became eerily silent. Ooh. No. Ooh, nice! Wait, what? I cast a barrier around the shop just in case. Big bro is, someone who performs illegal procedures, right? Forbidden magic? He hit the nail on the head and reflexively pretended I didn't know what he was talking about. Huh? What do you mean illegal? You should know better. About how that thing I just carved functions, no? Yeah, that's why I noticed. The engravings are all ordinary, but fundamentally, they don't count as magic. Isn't that so? My heart sank at my secrets being uncovered not once but twice. I broke out in a cold sweat. But I tried to be as brazen as possible. Yeah, but it's not really forbidden, right? It's just an unusual way to use mana. Being unusual is one thing, and casting conjuration by using mana as sacrifice is another. Eventually I was left speechless. Just how much does he know? The music choices, man! What I learned from my master was not only magic, but conjuration. Conjurations are an ancient art that predates magic, and very few people today know how to wield it. Since sacrifices have powerful effects, I use conjurations when the occasional called for it. And I just found out that you left a chest outside the village with a detection spell. I don't know what's in it, but you hid it because you didn't want to be found, right? Oh! Huh? What trickled down my back was no longer drops cold sweat but a waterfall of it. Now if he finds out about my stash of special healing potion, it really was curtains for me. What was the saying that if one has a long tail, it will get stepped on? I felt like I was going to collapse as my eyes went dark and my legs weakened. Suddenly, Bato grabbed my hand and I thought I was going to be taken away immediately. I'm glad you're my big brother. We're in the same boat. I won't tell anyone about it. After hearing the unexpected response, I blurted out, Huh? Well, yeah. Don't worry about it. I'm the only one whose job is to keep tabs on stuff at the magic tower. That's a lot of work. I reflexively blurted out the words, so many emotions rushed through me in such a short time that I felt rather stupid. I stood there dumbfounded until I felt my hands go sore within Bato's grip and came to my senses. Oh, thanks. Really, I thought I was a goner. That's for me to say. You might as well have saved my life. Bato appeared at me again, this time with the gaze of a younger brother. I was defeated by a cuteness so powerful that I suspected it was a type of mind manipulation magic. Oh, you're blushing! Naturally, I stroked Bato's head before I was released from his grip. I think it was a little too much skin-to-skin contact for someone I just met today, but whatever. Well, I'll come back another time. Bato walked away with a happy smile on his face. That first day with Bato went by tempestuously? The first day with Bato went by tempestuously, and since then, he stopped by the shop occasionally to have his engravings checked and to take a small talk. At first, I thought he was just trying to catch me off guard, but he seemed to generally consider me a colleague or friend. I took advantage of the opportunity to urge Bato into handling me a potion notarization document from the magic tower, and thanks to it, the shop was able to do very well so far. God. Please, next. Since Gahel isn't here, maybe we should close early today. My mind was cluttered with miscellaneous thoughts and I felt tired, even though I hadn't done anything. I cleaned up the shop, grateful for the peaceful day. Wow, where the hell are we? After leaving Resque's shop, Bato headed straight to his laboratory in the magic tower. Does he have a talking skull? Realistically, most mages either lock themselves in their laboratories and never see the light of day, or did the opposite and completely neglected the room, using them as a storage space for all sorts of curiosities. The only mage who would set up such an extravagant display in his room would be Bato. Phew! Bato sighed and plopped down on his bed. He was going to heed Resque's advice and get some rest today. As is the case with all mages with the magic tower, Bato's laboratory is customized to suit his tastes. Like the mansions of Bato's hometown, the room was filled to the brim with fine furniture and looked as opulent as any nobleman's study. The carpet on the floor is the least creation of the kingdom's favorite tailor, and the sofa is a top of the line item coveted by other nobles. It was a glimpse into the wealth of Bato's family. I think I'll wash up and take a nap first. Oh! We're in his POV! Bato stood naked in front of the mirror and gazed at himself. I have to get ready! Bato's insecurity has his suddenly short stature in contrast to his thick arm muscles. Standing next to the other beastmen, his slightly shorter height and by extension his lower eye level made everyone look down at him.
What the hell?
He has a big bulge but small peen. Not getting any taller, huh? In his mind's eye, as he envisioned himself as much taller, his body shape somehow changed accordingly as well. His future self was a young man with no rounded belly and was tall enough to be popular with everyone, like a beastman who had trained as diligently as a member of the knighthood. We'll see if he's a grower, or let's say that his nipples are more delicious than the others. But laying his eyes on the reflection in the mirror, he could only let out a sigh. He hadn't reckoned changing his appearance was going to turn things around for him anyways. Just because you're good looking doesn't mean you become the owner of the magic tower. In the magic tower, there's a war of influence between schools of thought to gain more advantages. It's similar to the power struggle of nobles in monarchy. No, mage society was worse than nobility. If you couldn't use magic, you were worthless, even if you were a noble, and people would stop at nothing to study magic. While most people think of the magic tower as a place of magical tutelage, formal education is actually a major source of income for magic tower. At the same time, it's a way to discover talented mages and recruit them to a school of thought. Bato's hard work was not only for his personal status, but also for his school. Being an investigator of unauthorized magic is a job that no one wanted to do, but someone had to do it. By taking that station, Bato's school of thought that may gain an elevated platform and leverage in the school magic tower. In a society where everyone sees everyone else as a pawn on the chessboard, Bato has more or less a loner. Bato sighed again at the depressing thought. He realized he was going to be sighing all day, so he decided to wash up. Yes! Go to the bath already! We don't care with so many words! Just get on with it! Bato's bathroom is filled with experimental furniture made with the latest in magical engineering. Curiosities such as a bathtub that summons water with magic and a device that fine-tunes the temperature are items only found in the magic tower. So you're saying a faucet and a temperature regulator? Bato sat in the bathtub, soaking in the warm water and closing his eyes for a moment. He felt himself becoming soothed just a little. Let's focus on the silver lining. In any case, if you're a mage, it pays to belong to the magic tower. Mages receive ample treatment, well, no matter what they do. not to mention the general reputation of the tower. There are many mercenaries who can use magic, but the public perception of them cannot be more different than that of mages from a magic tower. Even in royal and aristocratic societies, the magic tower is a force to be reckoned with. Of course, however, only the heavens knew when this group of lunatics will cause another catastrophe. Even though it feels like a shackle, inside the walls of the magic tower is a great place to do research. The library's vast resources are a generous vault of information that one can't find anywhere else. But oh my god. Bato was thinking about a paper he'd recently seen called Optimizing Transmogrification Magic with Mana Fusion Techniques, which reminded him of something. Written at the end of the paper was a formula for the creation of masturbation toys, using shape-altering techniques and the image of the nude copulation of beastmen enclosed within as reference material flashed by his mind. He is such a fucking bottom! Bato's mind immediately filled with such images. With such thoughts, his cock immediately began to respond. Maybe once before bed? Bato brought his hands to his chest, reminding himself of the method of masturbating by stimulating his nipples. A light stroke would not suffice. Bato pinched and scratched his nipples, reveling in the exhilarating sensations. Bato... Oh shit! He is a grower! It didn't take long before his hard, throbbing cock poked its head above the water. The pale pink glands looked plumper than usual. Bato reached out to grab it, but then another thought occurred to him. This was his chance to do something he'd always been curious about. Ho! Oh look! Our good boy is here. Well rested after events in the dungeon, Gahel has resumed helping Resque with his shop. The goods sold moderately well, and the gold coins piled up in the warehouse. Resque tried to buy an artifact with his savings, but it's okay to pay me up at a later date. But I've already pushed it back a month, and my pride as a merchant. He had to find an artifact to pay Gahel as a down payment, but there are none available in the market. Of course, he could have paid it for it in cash, but it was simply something that Resque didn't feel entirely good about. Agreements aren't always honored perfectly, but a contract is a contract, and he had to try to honor it. Don't overwork yourself. It's not something I need right away anyway. Okay, I'll wait a little longer. Gahel's words eventually led Resque to compromise with reality. In fact, he could have gotten any old artifact if he had wanted to do so. It's just that he didn't have access to artifacts that are expensive enough to warrant a year-long contract with a mercenary like Gahel. An artifact, essentially a relic that has been created with ancient and thus powerful technology and magic. Gradually, however, the word in artifact began to be applied to objects that were not made in ancient times. Eventually, artifacts were graded based on their functionality and were priced accordingly. Expensive artifacts can be used to pay for trades, like in this current situation, or they can be bought by wealthy people as a display of riches. Should I just make one myself? No, that won't do. I don't think my skills would allow me to create an artifact of such value. It's not my idea of expertise, so I had no idea what to do. If only my master was here. My master was a dragonborn with powerful magical powers, a skilled shaman with expertise command over powerful conjurations. Is that Rajho? Is that the blue dragon? Is that the blue dragon in the preview? He's the kind of guy who can whip up an artifact in a jiffy. But he was not someone who was available whenever he was needed. He was probably still traveling the world to his heart's content, helping people and stuffing his face with food. Rather, why don't we go to the tavern after work today? We can have a drink. The tavern? Why? Resque said the words without much thought since he didn't drink often. But Gahel seemed quite shocked by Resque's words. Looking at Gahel, who looked like a puppy caught in the rain, Resque began to feel guilty for reacting like that to Gahel's invitation. It's not like Gahel asked me out. Did I reject him too quickly? You did! You rejected him too quickly. You need to slow down. If I were you, enjoy life. Isn't it nice to go for a ride once in a while? Oh! He is asking you out on a date. Let's go next time. Okay. Gahel, familiar with the speech habits, would recognize that I was simply coming up with something to say, but he nodded without further questioning. I think I'll have to go with you next time. Just as my boredom started to eclipse my gratefulness for another uneventful day, another event took place. None other than my master had visited the magic shop. Oh!